In some states like Illinois, 80 to 90% of all drug offenders sent to prison have been one race, African American. Now, I know that many people, when they actually see the disparities, see the data, will say, yeah, that's a shame. That's a shame, but you know, we need to get tough on them. Them in the hood, because that's where the violent offenders are. That's where the drug kingpins are. Well, the answer is from the outset, the war on drugs had relatively little to do with genuine concern about drug addiction or the harms of drug abuse, and much to do with politics, racial politics. Numerous historians and political scientists have now documented that the war on drugs was part of a grand Republican Party strategy known as the Southern Strategy of using racially coded get tough appeals on issues of crime and welfare to appeal to poor and working class whites, particularly in the South, who are anxious about, resentful of, fearful of many of the gains of African Americans in the civil rights movement. Now, I think, to be fair, we have to acknowledge that poor and working class whites really had their world rocked by the civil rights movement. And a couple years after the drug war was announced, crack began to ravage inner city communities. And the Reagan administration seized on this development, actually hiring staff whose job it was to publicize inner city crack babies, crack dealers, the so-called crack whores, and crack-related violence. Many people in here may be too young to remember that there was a time when our television sets were saturated with news about crack babies and crack dealers and images of black men in handcuffs and orange jumpsuits in courtrooms as communities were swept and raided. The demon drug crack hit the news. Discrimination is legal, countless aspects of your daily life. For the rest of your life, you've got to check that box on employment applications asking, have you ever been convicted of a felony? Doesn't matter how long that felony may have happened ago. It doesn't matter if it was weeks, years, decades ago. For the rest of your life, you've got to check that box knowing your application is likely going straight to the trash.